Chosen ones, Jesus just made a decision about your life. Find out why now. The moment you clicked on this video, heaven took notice. That stirring in your chest, that quickening in your spirit, it's not a coincidence. It's a divine summons. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were led by the hand of God Himself to this sacred moment where eternity is whispering your name. Jesus has just made a decision about your life, and it's so profound, so life-altering that the spiritual realm is buzzing with anticipation. But here's the urgency. This decision comes with a timer, and it's counting down. Will you rise to meet this moment, or will you let it slip through your fingers like sand? Listen closely, chosen one, because the next hour could rewrite your destiny. You've been carrying a weight no one else can see, a heaviness that lingers in quiet moments, a longing for purpose that keeps you awake at night. Maybe you've prayed prayers that seem to vanish into silence, or stood at closed doors that refuse to open. Perhaps you've wondered if God has overlooked you, if your struggles are punishment, if your dreams are just echoes of a hope that's long faded. But what if I told you that every tear, every setback, every sleepless night was not a denial, but a divine preparation? Jesus has been forging you in the fire, not to break you, but to make you unbreakable. Your pain wasn't random, it was purposeful, crafting you into the vessel for a breakthrough so massive it will shake generations. This video unveils a unique truth. Your deepest fears are not barriers but gateways to your divine purpose. The enemy has convinced you that your doubts and anxieties are chains, but Jesus has declared them keys. Keys that unlock the door to your prosperous life. In John 16:33, Jesus says, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Your struggles aren't the end of your story. They're the prelude to your personal transformation. Think of David, trembling before Goliath, yet stepping forward with a slingshot and a promise. Think of Esther, pumping as she approached the king, yet moving in faith to save her people. Your fear is not your enemy. It's your invitation to step into the abundance God has prepared. Picture a radiant door standing before you, your name carved in gold, glowing with the light of heaven's promise. This door doesn't lead to fleeting blessings or temporary relief. It opens to your divine purpose, a life of overflowing blessings where your faith journey becomes a beacon for others. But this door has a divine timer, and it's ticking. In Isaiah 55:6, the prophet warns, "Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near." This is your moment of spiritual awakening, chosen one. Jesus has decided that now is your time to step into the destiny He planned before the stars were hung in the sky. But will you trust Him enough to move? Let me share a story that might feel like your own. Sarah, a single mother from Chicago, sat in her small apartment last year, bills piling up, her dreams of starting a community bakery buried under years of rejection. She'd prayed for a breakthrough, but every door seemed locked. One night, scrolling through videos, she felt a stirring, a message like this one, urging her to face her fear of failure. Trembling, she wrote down one goal: to pitch her bakery idea to a local investor. The next day, she made the call. That investor not only funded her dream, but connected her with a network that turned her bakery into a thriving hub for her community. Sarah's fear was her gateway to divine provision, and today she's living a prosperous life, employing others and feeding the hungry. Her story isn't verified by headlines, but it's real in the heart of every chosen one who dares to act. If this message is igniting a spark in your soul, if you feel the weight of Jesus' decision over your life, consider supporting this ministry through Super Thanks below. Your seed doesn't just fuel a channel, it spreads the light of divine purpose to other chosen ones standing at their own crossroads. Whether you give or simply receive, know that your presence here is ordained. But don't just listen, act. Comment, "I am ready for Jesus' decision" below to declare to heaven that you're stepping into your faith journey. Your words seal a spiritual commitment, joining thousands of others who are awakening to their calling. Now, let's address the fear that's whispering in your ear, telling you you're not enough, that you've failed too many times, that this moment is too big for you. That's not your voice, it's the enemy's lie, designed to keep you from your breakthrough. In 2 Timothy 1:7, Paul declares, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." Your fear is a phantom, a fog that dissipates when you step forward in faith. Imagine a scroll unfurling in heaven, your destiny written in light, every promise of abundance and personal transformation waiting for your signature. Jesus has already signed it with his blood. Now he's waiting for your yes. You might be thinking, "But my life is a mess. I'm too old, too broken, too far gone." Let me remind you of Moses, called at 80 to lead a nation despite a past of murder and exile. Or consider Maria, a 62-year-old retiree from Atlanta, who felt her time for impact had passed. Last spring, she heard a whisper to start a mentorship program for at-risk teens. Fear told her she was too old, but faith pushed her to act. She contacted a local school, offered her time, and within months her program was transforming lives, with teens finding purpose and hope. Maria's story shows that your age, your past, your limitations are not disqualifications. They're qualifications for God's plan. Here's where practicality meets spirituality. Jesus' decision over your life isn't just a promise, it's a call to action. To step into your destiny, you need to move now, not tomorrow. Here are 3 specific steps to align with your spiritual awakening, steps you can take today to unlock your prosperous life. First, write down one goal for this week that scares you. A goal tied to your dreams, like starting a project, applying for a job, or sharing your testimony. Put it somewhere you'll see it daily. Second, reach out to someone you've been avoiding, whether it's a friend you need to forgive or a mentor who can guide you. Send that text or make that call today. Third, take one tangible step toward your calling. Register a domain for your ministry, draft the first page of your book, or research that business idea. These steps aren't random. They're bridges between your current reality and God's promises. Don't let these steps overwhelm you. They're not about perfection, but obedience. In Hebrews 11:1, we're told, "Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Your faith journey begins with small, courageous acts. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a river, the promised land on the other side. The water won't part until you step forward, just as it did for the Israelites in Joshua 3. Your breakthrough isn't waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to move. Jesus has decided that your time is now, but the enemy wants you to believe you have forever. That's a lie. This moment is your divine window, and it won't stay open indefinitely. Some of you are feeling a shift, a holy restlessness that's stirring your spirit. That's not anxiety. It's the Holy Spirit confirming that Jesus' decision is for you. In Psalm 139:16, David writes, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book, before one of them came to be." Before you took your first breath, Jesus knew this moment would come. He saw every struggle, every doubt, every fear, and he decided you were worthy of this destiny. But here's the question that will define your future. Will you trust his decision, or will you let fear rewrite your story? Let's talk about the prosperity that awaits you. Not just financial freedom, but a life overflowing with purpose, peace, and impact. Prosperity isn't about chasing wealth, it's about aligning with God's abundance. In Deuteronomy 8:18, God says, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." Your prosperous life is tied to your obedience, to stepping through the door Jesus has opened. Imagine a life where your work blesses others, where your resources fund God's kingdom, where your story inspires nations. That's the destiny Jesus has decided for you, but it starts with your choice to act. You might be wondering, what if I step out and fail? Failure isn't the opposite of success, hesitation is. Every biblical hero faced fear, yet they moved anyway. Peter stepped onto the water knowing he might sink. Abraham left his home not knowing where he was going. Their faith wasn't perfect, but it was active. Your personal transformation doesn't depend on your strength, but on your surrender. Jesus has already overcome every obstacle. Now he's asking you to walk in his victory. But what if the fear you're facing is the very doorway to your divine provision? The fear gripping your heart right now, whispering that you're not ready, that you'll fall short, that this divine moment is too big for you. It's not a wall, chosen one. It's a veil, thin and fragile, hiding the radiant truth of your destiny. Jesus has made a decision about your life, and it's not contingent on your perfection or your past. It's sealed in the eternal courts of heaven, where your name echoes with purpose. This fear you feel is not a stop sign. It's a sacred invitation to step into the spiritual awakening that will unlock your prosperous life. In Joshua 1:9, God commands, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Your fear is the threshold, and on the other side lies the breakthrough you've been praying for. Imagine standing before a vast ocean, waves crashing, the horizon shimmering with promise. That ocean is your destiny, vast and uncharted, filled with possibilities of abundance, divine provision, and personal transformation. But between you and that horizon is a single step, a step that feels impossible, a step that fear begs you to avoid. Yet Jesus, who walked on water, is calling you to take that step, not because you're fearless, but because he's faithful. Your faith journey isn't about silencing fear, it's about moving through it, letting it become the fuel for your courage. Every hero of faith faced this moment. Gideon, hiding in a winepress, felt unworthy to lead an army, yet he obeyed and saw miracles. Rahab, a woman with a past, risked everything to protect God's spies, and her faith secured her legacy. Your fear is not your disqualification, it's your qualification for God's plan. Let's ground this in a story that might mirror your own. James, a 45-year-old teacher from Seattle, spent years dreaming of writing a book to inspire his students. But fear of rejection kept him silent, fear that his words wouldn't matter, that he'd be mocked, that he'd fail. One evening, a sermon online stirred his spirit, much like this message might be stirring yours. It urged him to act on his calling. Shaking, he wrote his first chapter that night. The next week, he shared it with a colleague who connected him to a publisher. Today, James' book is in classrooms across his district, sparking hope in young minds. His fear was the doorway to his divine purpose, and his small step led to a legacy of impact. Jesus has decided that your story too can shift lives, but only if you move. You might be thinking, but my circumstances are too heavy. I don't have the resources, the time, the support. Chosen one, Jesus doesn't need your resources. He needs your readiness. In Matthew 14:17, when the disciples faced a hungry crowd with only 5 loaves and 2 fish, they saw lack. Jesus saw abundance. He took their little and multiplied it to feed thousands. Your small steps, those 3 actions I shared earlier, are your loaves and fish. Writing that goal, reaching out to someone, starting that project, these are offerings Jesus can multiply into divine provision. Don't despise small beginnings, for as Zechariah 4:10 says, "Who dares despise the day of small things?" Your faith journey starts with what's in your hand, and Jesus' decision ensures it's enough. Let's pause to connect with the community of chosen ones watching this. If Jesus' decision over your life is stirring your soul, type "I am stepping into my destiny" in the comments below. Your declaration isn't just words, it's a spiritual marker, a signal to heaven that you're aligning with your calling. Pray for the person who commented before you, because you're not alone in this journey. Thousands are standing at their own thresholds, feeling the same mix of fear and holy anticipation, ready to embrace their prosperous life. Your comment builds a bridge, uniting you with others in this spiritual awakening. Now, let's dive deeper into the decision Jesus has made. This isn't just about opening a door, it's about transforming your identity. You've been living under names the world gave you: failure, forgotten, unworthy. But Jesus has declared a new name over you, one written in the Lamb's Book of Life. In Revelation 2:17, he promises, "To the one who is victorious, I will give a white stone, with a new name written on it, known only to the one who receives it." Your new name might be restored, anointed, or overcomer. It's a name that reflects your divine purpose, a name that makes demons tremble. Jesus' decision is to call you by this name, to invite you into a life where your faith journey radiates his glory. Picture a battlefield, angels clashing with dark forces, all for the sake of your destiny. This is the reality of your spiritual awakening. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us, "Our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world." Every fear, every doubt, every delay is a tactic of the enemy to keep you from this moment. But Jesus has already won the victory. His decision is your vindication, your empowerment to step into a life of abundance. The enemy knows that when you embrace this decision, you become a threat, a light that pierces darkness, a voice that shifts atmospheres, a vessel for overflowing blessings. You might be asking, why now? Why is this moment so urgent? Because heaven operates on divine timing, and Jesus has declared that your season of waiting is over. In Ecclesiastes 3:1, we're told, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." Your season of preparation has ended. Your season of breakthrough has begun. The 3 steps I shared, writing a goal, reaching out, taking a tangible action, are your keys to align with this timing. Don't add more steps. These are enough. They're not about striving, but surrendering, trusting that Jesus' decision is already at work. Your prosperous life isn't a distant dream. It's a present reality, waiting for your faith to claim it. Let's talk about the prosperity Jesus has decided for you. This isn't just about wealth creation, though divine provision may include financial freedom. It's about a life where every area overflows: your relationships, your health, your purpose. In John 10:10, Jesus says, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." Fullness is your inheritance, chosen one. Imagine waking up each day with peace that surpasses understanding, with resources to bless others, with a calling that impacts lives. This is the prosperous life Jesus has decided for you. But it requires you to step through the fear, to trust his timing, to act on his promise. Some of you are feeling a holy pressure, a sense that this moment is different. That's the Holy Spirit urging you to move. Don't ignore it. In Acts 17:28, Paul declares, "In him we live and move and have our being." Your next move isn't yours alone, it's guided by the one who decided your destiny before time began. Your fear is not a barrier, but a bridge, leading you to the breakthrough that will define your legacy. Jesus has made his decision, but the enemy wants you to doubt it, to hesitate, to stay small. Don't give in. Your personal transformation is at hand, and it's bigger than you can imagine. Let me share another story to anchor this truth. Lisa, a 30-year-old nurse from Houston, felt called to start a health outreach for underserved communities. Fear of failure kept her silent for years. She worried about funding, credentials, support. One night, a message like this one pierced her heart. She took a step. She wrote a proposal for her outreach. The next day, she shared it with her pastor, who connected her to a grant program. Within months, Lisa's outreach was serving hundreds, providing care and hope. Her fear was her gateway to divine provision, and today, she's living her divine purpose. Jesus' decision for Lisa was clear, just as it is for you. Your breakthrough awaits, but only if you act. As you stand at this threshold, picture a scroll in heaven, unrolling with your story written in golden ink. Every struggle, every fear, every prayer is recorded, and Jesus has penned the next chapter. A chapter of abundance, impact, and glory. But this chapter requires your participation. The 3 steps I gave you are your pen, your ink, your signature on this divine contract. Write that goal, make that call, take that action. Don't wait for certainty. Walk in faith. Jesus' decision is your assurance that the door is open, the path is prepared, and your prosperous life is within reach. But what if the next move you make could shift not just your life, but the lives of those who'll follow you through this door? The door before you, chosen one, isn't just an entryway. It's a portal to a life where Jesus' decision over your life unfolds in ways that will leave you breathless. That trembling in your spirit, that quickening in your pulse, it's not just emotion, it's the Holy Spirit signaling that your spiritual awakening is now. Jesus has declared your time, and the fear you feel is not a barrier, but a sacred bridge to your divine purpose. Picture a vast golden field stretching before you, ripe with the harvest of God's promises, abundance, peace, and a legacy that echoes through generations. This is the prosperous life Jesus has decided for you, but it demands your courage to cross the threshold. In Psalm 23:4, David proclaims, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Your valley of fear is not your destination. It's the path to your breakthrough. Let's anchor this truth with another story, one that might resonate with your own journey. Marcus, a 38-year-old mechanic from Detroit, felt a stirring for years to start a mentorship program for young men in his neighborhood. Fear of judgment held him back, fear that he wasn't educated enough, that his past mistakes disqualified him, that no one would listen. One Sunday, a sermon online, much like this message, pierced his heart. It urged him to act despite his doubts. Shaking, he took one of the steps I've shared. He reached out to a local community leader. That single call led to a partnership with a youth center, and within a year, Marcus was mentoring dozens of teens, guiding them toward purpose and away from the streets. His fear was the gateway to his divine provision, transforming not just his life, but the lives of those he was called to serve. Jesus' decision for Marcus was clear, and it's just as clear for you. You might be wondering, why me? Why would Jesus choose me for such a destiny? Because before the foundations of the earth, he saw you. In Ephesians 1:4, Paul writes, "He chose us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight." Your calling isn't an afterthought, it's etched into the fabric of eternity. The enemy has tried to bury that truth under layers of doubt, whispering that you're too broken, too ordinary, too late. But Jesus' decision shatters those lies. Your struggles, financial strains, broken relationships, unfulfilled dreams weren't punishment. They were preparation, forging you into a vessel for overflowing blessings. Every closed door was God redirecting you to this moment, this door, this divine opportunity. Let's talk about the abundance awaiting you. Prosperity in God's kingdom isn't just about wealth creation, though Jesus may open doors to financial freedom. It's about a life where every area overflows. Your joy, your relationships, your impact. In Malachi 3:10, God promises, "Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." This is the prosperous life Jesus has decided for you. A life where your faith journey becomes a testimony, where your obedience unlocks divine provision, where your courage inspires others to seek their own breakthrough. But this abundance requires action, not just belief. Those 3 steps I shared earlier, writing a goal, reaching out to someone, taking a tangible step toward your calling, are your keys to align with Jesus' decision. Don't overcomplicate it. These steps are enough. They're not about striving, but about stepping into what's already prepared. Imagine a riverbank, the water still and waiting. Your small act of faith, writing that goal, making that call, is the stone you cast into the water, sending ripples that touch lives you may never meet. In John 5:8, Jesus told the paralytic, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." He didn't wait for the man to feel ready. He commanded action. Your faith journey hinges on this same obedience, on moving now, not later. Some of you are feeling a holy urgency, a sense that this moment is different from any other. That's the Holy Spirit, confirming that Jesus' decision is active in your life. Don't ignore it. In Galatians 6:9, Paul encourages, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Your harvest is ripe, chosen one, but it's tied to your willingness to act. The enemy wants you to delay, to believe there's always tomorrow. But Jesus' decision is for today. This door, glowing with your name, won't stay open forever. Its timer is ticking, and heaven is watching to see if you'll trust His plan. Let's connect with the community of chosen ones standing with you. If this message is stirring your soul, if you feel Jesus' decision igniting your faith, type, "I am stepping into my destiny" in the comments below. Your declaration is a spiritual act, a beacon to others that you're claiming your breakthrough. Pray for the person who commented before you, because you're part of a holy remnant, bound by divine purpose. Your words build a community of faith, a network of warriors walking toward their prosperous lives together. If this message is awakening something in you, consider supporting this ministry through super thanks below. Your seed helps carry this truth to others, spreading the light of divine provision to those still searching for their door. Now, let's confront the fear that's trying to hold you back. It's not just a feeling, it's a strategy, a calculated attack to keep you from your destiny. The enemy doesn't need to defeat you, he just needs to delay you. But Jesus' decision is your victory. In 1 John 4:4, we're reminded, "The one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world." Your fear is no match for the power of Christ in you. Picture a warrior, armor gleaming, standing before a gate guarded by shadows. Those shadows are your fears, failure, rejection, inadequacy. But as you step forward, sword in hand, they scatter, because Jesus has already defeated them. Your personal transformation begins the moment you choose faith over fear. You might be thinking, "But my past is too messy. I've made too many mistakes." Let me remind you of Paul. Once Saul, a persecutor of Christians, transformed into an apostle who wrote half the New Testament. His past didn't disqualify him, it authenticated his calling. Your mistakes aren't your identity, they're your testimony. Jesus' decision is to use your scars to shine his light, to turn your pain into purpose, to make your story a beacon of hope. In Romans 8:28, Paul assures us, "In all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Your past is part of the all things Jesus is weaving into your prosperous life. Let's visualize this moment. Imagine a scroll in heaven, unrolling before the throne, your name written in letters of fire. Every prayer you've whispered, every tear you've shed, every moment you chose to keep believing despite the odds, it's all recorded. Jesus' decision is to activate that scroll now, to release the promises written there. Your divine purpose isn't a distant hope. It's a present reality, waiting for you to claim it. Those 3 steps, writing that goal, reaching out, acting on your calling, are your signature on this scroll, your agreement with Jesus' decision. They're not about earning his favor, but aligning with his plan, stepping into the abundance he's prepared. Some of you are carrying burdens for others, praying for a wayward child, believing for a restored marriage, hoping for revival in your community. Your faith is not just for you, it's a bridge for others to cross into their own breakthroughs. In Hebrews 12:1, we're told, "We are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses." Those witnesses, angels, saints, and Jesus himself, are cheering you on, urging you to run toward your destiny. Your small steps today, writing that goal, making that call, could unlock miracles for generations. Your prosperous life isn't just about you. It's about the lives you'll touch, the chains you'll break, the hope you'll ignite. Let's talk about the cost of hesitation. Every moment you delay, you risk missing the divine timing Jesus has set. In Luke 19:44, Jesus weeps over Jerusalem, saying they missed the time of God's coming to you. Don't let that be your story. The enemy wants you to believe you have endless chances, but some doors only open once. Think of the 5 foolish virgins in Matthew 25 who missed the bridegroom's arrival because they weren't ready. Jesus' decision is your invitation, but it requires your response. Those 3 steps are your preparation, your oil for the lamp, ensuring you're ready when the door swings wide. As you stand at this threshold, picture a light breaking through the darkness, illuminating a path paved with God's promises. That light is Jesus' decision, shining on your faith journey, guiding you to a life of divine provision and personal transformation. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be present. You don't need to be fearless, you need to be faithful. Your breakthrough is not a question of if, but when. And Jesus has declared that when is now. Your prosperous life is waiting, but it starts with your choice to act, to trust, to step through the fear into the destiny He's decided for you. But what if the next step you take could unleash a wave of blessings that changes not just your life, but the world around you? That wave of blessings, chosen one, is not a distant dream. It's the reality Jesus has decided for your life, poised to crash over every area of your existence, flooding it with divine provision, purpose, and impact. The door before you, radiant with your name etched in celestial gold, is not just an entryway. It's the threshold to a prosperous life where your faith journey becomes a testimony that shakes nations. Jesus' decision is final, sealed in heaven's courts, but its manifestation hinges on your response. The fear that's whispering, "You're not ready, you're not worthy," is a lie from the enemy, desperate to keep you from stepping into your spiritual awakening. In Isaiah 41:10, God declares, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Your fear is not your master. Jesus is, and he's calling you to move now. Picture a mighty river, its waters sparkling under heaven's light, carrying promises of abundance, healing, and personal transformation. You stand on the bank, the current beckoning you to step in. The 3 steps I shared: writing a goal, reaching out to someone, taking a tangible action toward your calling, are your bridge into that river. They're not tasks to earn God's favor. They're acts of faith to align with his decision. In James 2:17 we're reminded, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. Your faith journey isn't about feeling ready. It's about moving forward, trusting that Jesus' decision has already paved the way. Every step you take is a declaration that you believe his promise over your pain, his plan over your past. Let's ground this in another story, one that might echo your own struggles. Emily, a 29-year-old graphic designer from Miami, felt a calling to start a faith-based art project to inspire her community. Fear of failure kept her stuck. She worried her work wouldn't be good enough, that no one would care. One night, a message like this one stirred her spirit, urging her to act. She took the first step I shared. She wrote down her goal to create a mural depicting hope. The next day, she reached out to a local church, nervous but determined. That contact led to a collaboration with a community center, and within months, her mural was unveiled, drawing crowds and sparking conversations about faith. Emily's fear was her gateway to divine purpose, and today she's living a prosperous life, using her art to glorify God. Jesus' decision for Emily was clear, and it's just as clear for you. You might be thinking, but my situation is different. My burdens are too heavy, my resources too few. Chosen one, Jesus doesn't need your resources, he needs your willingness. In 2 Corinthians 12:9 he says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Your lack is where his abundance shines. Those 3 steps, writing that goal, making that call, acting on your calling, are your offering, small but mighty in his hands. Imagine a seed, tiny and unassuming, buried in dark soil. It doesn't look like much, but when planted, it breaks through the earth, growing into a tree that bears fruit for generations. Your small steps are seeds, and Jesus' decision ensures they'll grow into a harvest of overflowing blessings. Let's connect with the community of chosen ones walking this path with you. If Jesus' decision is igniting a fire in your spirit, if you feel ready to step into your destiny, type "I am stepping into my destiny" in the comments below. Your words are a spiritual declaration, a signal to heaven that you're claiming your breakthrough. Pray for the person who commented before you, because you're part of a holy army, united by faith, marching toward prosperous life. Your comment weaves you into this community, strengthening others as they face their own fears. If this message is stirring your soul, consider joining thousands of chosen souls by subscribing to stay connected to your faith journey. Hit that notification bell to never miss a word of encouragement, because in these moments, staying anchored to truth is your lifeline. Now let's confront the lie that's holding you back, the lie that your past defines you. The enemy has convinced you that your mistakes, your failures, your brokenness disqualify you from Jesus' decision. But in Romans 8:1, Paul declares, "There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus." Your past is not your identity, it's your testimony. Jesus has decided to use your scars to shine his light, to turn your pain into a platform for his glory. Think of Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times, yet was chosen to lead the early church. His failure didn't cancel his calling, it prepared him for it. Your struggles, whether financial hardship broken relationships, or unfulfilled dreams are not the end of your story. They're the raw materials for your personal transformation. Visualize a tapestry woven with threads of every trial you've faced. Each thread, every rejection, every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, is being woven by Jesus into a masterpiece of divine purpose. In Jeremiah 29:11, God promises, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This tapestry is your prosperous life, a life where your faith journey radiates hope, where your obedience unlocks abundance, where your courage breaks generational curses. Those 3 steps are your needle and thread, stitching you into God's plan. Don't add more steps. These are enough. Write that goal, make that call, act on your calling today, not tomorrow. Some of you are feeling a shift, a holy restlessness that's shaking the foundations of your doubt. That's the Holy Spirit confirming that Jesus' decision is active in your life. In Psalm 37:4, we're told, "Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Those desires burning in you, starting that ministry, healing that relationship, pursuing that dream, they're not random. They're God-given, planted by Jesus to lead you to your breakthrough. The enemy wants you to believe they're impossible, but Jesus' decision declares they're inevitable. Your prosperous life is not a fantasy. It's a promise, sealed by His blood, waiting for your faith to claim it. Let's talk about the urgency of this moment. Jesus' decision is tied to divine timing, and that timing is now. In Revelation 3:8, Jesus says, "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." But that door has a timer, and it's ticking. The 3 steps I shared are your keys to walk through before it closes. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Faith walks when the path is unclear. Think of Noah building an ark with no rain in sight, or Abraham leaving his home for a land he didn't know. Their faith wasn't rooted in certainty, but in trust. Your faith journey is the same, and Jesus' decision is your assurance that the path is prepared. You might be carrying burdens for others, praying for a loved one's healing, believing for a community's revival, hoping for a family's restoration. Your faith is a spiritual weapon, breaking chains not just for you, but for those tied to your destiny. In Hebrews 11:6 we're reminded, "Without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him." Your earnest seeking through those 3 steps is pleasing Jesus, aligning you with His decision, releasing divine provision for you and others. Your breakthrough is a domino, triggering miracles across generations. As you stand at this threshold, picture a flame in your chest, small but growing, fueled by Jesus' decision. That flame is your spiritual awakening, burning away doubt, illuminating your path to a prosperous life. The enemy wants to extinguish it, whispering that you've missed your chance, that you're too late. But Jesus' decision says otherwise. In Joel 2:25, God promises, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten." Every lost opportunity, every stolen dream, every moment of pain. Jesus is restoring it all, weaving it into a story of abundance and impact. Your 3 steps are the spark that ignites this restoration, setting your destiny ablaze. Some of you are wondering, what does this prosperous life look like? It's not just financial freedom, though Jesus may open doors to wealth creation. It's a life where your relationships are healed, your purpose is clear, and your actions glorify God. Imagine waking up each day with peace that anchors you, resources that bless others, and a legacy that outlives you. In Deuteronomy 28:2, God says, "All these blessings will come on you and accompany you if you obey the Lord your God." Obedience through those 3 steps, writing, reaching out, acting, is your key to this life. Jesus' decision is your guarantee, but your movement is your agreement. Let's pause to unite with the community of chosen ones. If this message is stirring your heart, if you're ready to embrace Jesus' decision, type "I am stepping into my destiny" in the comments below. Your declaration is a spiritual act, binding you to others who are claiming their breakthroughs. Pray for the person who commented before you, because your faith strengthens theirs, creating a network of warriors walking toward divine purpose. If this message is igniting your faith, consider subscribing to stay connected to this journey of personal transformation. Hit that notification bell, because every word of truth is a weapon against the enemy's lies. Now let's address the doubt that's creeping in, the voice saying, "This is too good to be true." That's the enemy's last attempt to keep you from your breakthrough. Jesus' decision is not too good, it's true. In John 8:32, Jesus says, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." The truth is that your fear is a gateway, your struggles are preparation, and your destiny is now. Those 3 steps are your path to freedom, your alignment with Jesus' decision. Don't wait for a sign, this moment is your sign. Don't wait for clarity, your faith creates the clarity. Jesus has decided, but the next move is yours. But what if the fear you're facing is the final test before your greatest breakthrough? That final test, chosen one, is not a punishment but a divine invitation. A sacred challenge to prove that you trust Jesus' decision over your life more than you trust the fear that's held you captive. The door before you, shimmering with the light of heaven's promise, is wide open, but it's guarded by the shadow of doubt. A shadow that shrinks the moment you step forward. Jesus has declared your destiny, a life of divine provision and personal transformation, where your faith journey becomes a beacon of hope for others. In Matthew 17:20, Jesus promises, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Your faith, no matter how small, is enough to move the mountains of fear standing in your way. This is your moment to step into the prosperous life Jesus has decided for you. Imagine a vast, ancient library in heaven, its shelves lined with scrolls, each one bearing the story of a chosen soul. Your scroll is there, unrolled, its pages glowing with promises of abundance, purpose, and impact. Every trial you've faced, every financial struggle, every broken relationship, every unfulfilled dream is written there, not as a record of failure, but as a testament to your preparation. Jesus' decision is the ink that writes the next chapter, a chapter of overflowing blessings where your obedience transforms pain into power. Those 3 steps I shared, writing a goal, reaching out to someone, taking a tangible action toward your calling, are your signature on this scroll, your agreement with His plan. They're not about earning His favor, but aligning with His purpose, stepping into the destiny He's crafted for you. Let's anchor this with a story that might feel like yours. Rachel, a 52-year-old librarian from Denver, spent years feeling called to start a literacy program for children in her community. Fear of failure and lack of resources kept her silent. She worried she didn't have the skills or the funds to make it happen. One evening, a message like this one stirred her spirit, urging her to act on her faith. She took the first step. She wrote down her goal to launch the program within 6 months. The next day, she reached out to a local nonprofit, nervous but determined. That contact led to a grant that funded her program, and today, Rachel's initiative is teaching hundreds of kids to read, changing lives and building futures. Her fear was her gateway to divine purpose, and Jesus' decision for her was fulfilled through her small steps. Your story can be the same. You might be thinking, but my circumstances are too overwhelming. I don't have the strength to move forward. Chosen one, your strength comes from Jesus, not yourself. In Philippians 4:13, Paul declares, "I can do all this through him who gives me strength." Those 3 steps, writing that goal, making that call, acting on your calling, are not about your ability but his. They're your act of surrender, your trust that Jesus' decision is greater than your limitations. Picture a seed breaking through rocky soil, reaching for sunlight. Your struggles are that rocky soil, but your faith is the seed, and Jesus' decision is the sunlight that makes it grow. Your prosperous life is not a distant hope. It's a present reality, waiting for your obedience to bring it forth. Let's talk about the abundance Jesus has decided for you. This isn't just about financial freedom, though he may open doors to wealth creation. It's about a life where every area overflows: your peace, your relationships, your purpose. In Psalm 65:11, David writes, "You crown the year with your bounty, and your carts overflow with abundance." This is the prosperous life Jesus has planned, a life where your faith journey radiates hope, where your obedience unlocks divine provision, where your courage breaks chains for others. Those 3 steps are your keys to this abundance, simple acts that align you with heaven's timing. Don't complicate them, they're enough. Write that goal, make that call, act now, because Jesus' decision is active today. Some of you are feeling a holy pressure, a sense that this moment is different, that something eternal is at stake. That's the Holy Spirit, confirming that Jesus' decision is for you. In Romans 8:30, Paul says, "Those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified." Your calling is not a maybe, it's a certainty, sealed by Jesus' decision. The enemy wants you to doubt it, to hesitate, to believe you're not enough. But your fear is not your truth. Jesus is. Your past is not your identity. His promise is. Those 3 steps are your bridge from doubt to destiny, from fear to faith, from struggle to breakthrough. Let's connect with the community of chosen ones standing with you. If Jesus' decision is igniting your spirit, if you're ready to claim your prosperous life, type "I am stepping into my destiny" in the comments below. Your declaration is a spiritual act, a signal to heaven that you're aligning with your divine purpose. Pray for the person who commented before you, because you're part of a holy remnant, united by faith, walking toward abundance together. Your words strengthen others, building a community of warriors claiming their breakthroughs. If this message is stirring your soul, consider subscribing to stay connected to this faith journey. Hit that notification bell, because every word of truth is a weapon against the enemy's lies, guiding you toward your personal transformation. Now let's confront the doubt that's trying to steal this moment. The enemy whispers, "You've failed too many times. Your dreams are too big. This isn't for you." But Jesus' decision says otherwise. In Isaiah 43:1, God declares, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. You are his, chosen one, redeemed for a purpose that's unfolding now. Your failures are not your end. They're your education, teaching you to rely on his strength. Your dreams are not too big. They're God-sized, designed to glorify him. Those 3 steps are your response to his summons, your act of faith that unlocks the door to your destiny. Visualize a battlefield, angels clashing with dark forces, all for the sake of your future. This is the reality of your spiritual awakening. In Ephesians 6:12, Paul reminds us, our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. Every doubt, every fear, every delay is a tactic to keep you from this moment. But Jesus has already won the victory. His decision is your empowerment to step into a life of abundance, where your faith journey becomes a testimony that shifts atmospheres. Those 3 steps are your weapons, simple but mighty, breaking the enemy's hold and aligning you with God's plan. You might be wondering, why is this moment so urgent? Because heaven's clock is ticking and Jesus' decision is tied to divine timing. In Ecclesiastes 3:11, we're told, He has made everything beautiful in its time. Your time is now, chosen one. The 3 steps I shared, writing a goal, reaching out, acting on your calling, are your alignment with this timing. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Faith moves when the path is unclear. Think of Esther, who risked everything to approach the king, not knowing if she'd live or die. Her courage aligned with God's timing, saving a nation. Your courage, through those 3 steps, will align with Jesus' decision, unleashing miracles for you and those around you. Let's talk about the legacy Jesus' decision creates. Your prosperous life isn't just for you, it's for the generations that follow. In Psalm 112:2 we read, Their children will be mighty in the land, the generation of the upright will be blessed. Your obedience today, writing that goal, making that call, acting on your calling, plant seeds that will bear fruit for your children, your community, your world. Imagine your breakthrough sparking revival, your testimony inspiring others to seek God, your abundance funding His kingdom. This is the legacy Jesus has decided for you, but it starts with your faith in action. Some of you are carrying burdens for others, praying for a loved one's salvation, believing for a family's restoration, hoping for a community's healing. Your faith is a spiritual force, breaking chains not just for you, but for those tied to your destiny. In Hebrews 12:2, we're told to fix our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. Your eyes are fixed on Him now, chosen one, as you stand at this threshold. Those 3 steps are your act of fixing your eyes, trusting His decision over your doubts. Your breakthrough is a domino, triggering miracles for others, a ripple effect of divine provision that changes lives. As you stand before this door, picture a flame in your heart, growing brighter with every word. That flame is your spiritual awakening, fueled by Jesus' decision, burning away fear and illuminating your path to a prosperous life. The enemy wants to snuff it out, whispering that you're too late, that your moment has passed. But Jesus' decision says otherwise. In Joel 2:28, God promises, I will pour out my Spirit on all people. This is your outpouring, chosen one, a moment where His Spirit empowers you to step into your destiny. Those 3 steps are your response, your agreement with His promise, your bridge to abundance. You might be asking, what does this prosperous life look like? It's a life where your faith journey radiates peace, where your obedience unlocks resources, where your courage inspires nations. In John 10:10, Jesus declares, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Fullness is your inheritance, fullness of joy, purpose, and impact. Those 3 steps are your keys to this fullness, simple acts that align you with Jesus' decision. Don't add more steps. These are enough. Write that goal, make that call, act now, because your breakthrough is not a question of if, but when. And Jesus has declared that when is now. Let's unite with the community of chosen ones once more. If this message is setting your spirit ablaze, if you're ready to embrace Jesus' decision, type "I am stepping into my destiny" in the comments below. Your declaration is a spiritual marker, a signal to heaven that you're claiming your divine purpose. Pray for the person who commented before you, because you're part of a holy army, marching toward breakthroughs together. If this message is igniting your faith, consider supporting this ministry through super thanks below. Your seed spreads this truth to others, lighting their path to divine provision. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay connected to this journey of personal transformation, because every word is a step toward your prosperous life.